hit start. Okay, so it's now recorded. So just make sure, Nompumelelo, that always when you do our private lessons, you remind me to record, because it helps in case if by the end of the lesson you'll feel like it was a good lesson, then you can still download and watch it at a later stage or whenever you want to practice. So
Okay.
in today's lesson, it is going to help me to understand your level of understanding. And again, I'm going to be able to gauge in terms of how far do you understand maths and to what extent you understand maths. And most importantly, I will therefore be able to plan our future lessons, because in case if you are less informed, that will determine the length of our lessons, and again the amount of content needed for that specific lesson. But in today's lesson, this is what I do with every learner. There's no way we can do something else before we have done this lesson. So I'm just going to make sure that it is straightforward. And in case if you've got any question, you can just interrupt me in the middle of my explanation or whatever. So for now, Nompumelelo, what you can do, you can mute your mic, then I'll do a very quick presentation for you. Only if you've got a question, then you can just unmute and ask your question. So towards the end, we will be having a discussion to check if all was clear. So mathematics is what we'll be doing in today's lesson. So let's make an assumption, Nompumelelo, that you are able to walk, but because I haven't taught you how to crawl, I won't immediately teach you how to run. But with this lesson, this is you giving me an opportunity to teach you how to crawl, even though you know how to walk. As soon as I know that I've taught you all the tactics that you need to be aware of in order for you to be a crawl, then I can confidently take you through the process of walking. Once I know you are confident in walking, then I'm going to teach you on how to run. So let's start. I'm going to be talking about nothing else but mathematics. So this is going to help you on your normally question one of your mathematics paper one question paper. So but again, this content is going to help you in most of math problems. That includes number pattern sequence and series functions and other math chapters. So it is very, very much important, law, that you understand math problems. So in life, before you can give a solution to every problem, you firstly need to understand the type of a problem that you are dealing with. So that means I'm going to be talking about problem types. Which type of problems? Maths types of problems. You need to understand, Nompumelelo, that a maths problem, it is made up of a sign, a number, and a letter. Very, very much important, Nompumelelo, over there. The moment you see a sign, the moment you see a letter, a number and a letter, you know you're dealing with a math problem. Okay, let's try to check what signs am I talking about. Easy, easy, easy. A positive, this is a sign, Nompumelelo. A minus, this is a sign. It could be minus, it could be negative. It's a sign. It's equals to, this is a math sign, Nompumelelo, divided by, multiplication, square root, brackets, less than, greater than, less than or is equals to, greater than or is equals to, and many more. These are what we call the
Sir? Hello.
Science.
So
Nompumelelo, let me do
the
not disturb.
there's a
Uh-huh.
sorry, there's like a glitch when you're talking.
Oh yes, yes. So I had an incoming call.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So I forgot to actually put it on do not disturb, but it's now on do not disturb. Let me just connect my power. Okay, all is good on my side. Nompumelelo, is everything good also on your side?
Yeah, everything perfect. Thank you.
Okay, 100%. Let me go back to the word of God. Okay, Nompumelelo, what is a number? A number is a number. There's no any other way of explaining what is a number. A number, it could be 7, it could be 8, it could be 1,000, it could be 80, it could be 60. No, other people call 60 60. It could be 90 number, whatever number that you can think of. So now we make use of this signs to give a meaning to a number. So this 7, it can either be positive 7 or otherwise negative 7. This 8, it can be negative 8 or a positive 8. It could be plus or minus. It could be positive or it could be negative. It could be positive or it could be. All numbers can be given a meaning by making use of a plus or a minus. In short, what I'm saying is, in physical sciences, the sign represents the direction and a number is just a value. So in physics, when you have a plus, you know it could mean to the right. An opposite of a sign of a plus, it's a minus, which means left. Plus up, minus down, and then a number, it is the value or it is the magnitude. That is what I mean when I say we give numbers a meaning by making use of the sign. Okay, what is a letter, Nompumelelo? A letter is just any letter from A up to Z. It could be N for Nompumelelo, it could be E for Elo. My name is Desmond, it could be D or whatever letter. But we realize that in mathematics, examiner likes using normally letter X or otherwise letter Y. It could be P or whatever letter that they like using. It doesn't really matter that much. But what I'm trying to do here, Nompumelelo, is to try and break down to you what exactly is maths over there. So this is the three things that I wanted to talk about. You say the moment you see a sign and a number, or a number and a letter, or a sign and a letter, just know that you're dealing with mathematics. But now you also need to be aware of all of this. So the next thing that I want to talk about, Nompumelelo, is what we call a term. Very, very much important that you understand what is a term. Mathematically, we say a term, it is what is it? Separated by a sign of a plus or otherwise a minus. So let me connect that over there. You say a term, it is a maths component which is separated by either a plus or a minus. I'm not talking about a division, I'm not talking about a multiplication or any other sign, but I'm only talking about a mass component being separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. What exactly makes up a term, a law? So what makes a term is a sign followed by a number, but because we like what is it, fancy English, we call it a coefficient. What a coefficient? A coefficient. Hey, can you see how difficult fancy English is, Nompumelelo? That's why we end up saying a number. But because we like things, let's force it to be coefficient. We'll just force it until it sounds nicely there. Followed by a letter, Nompumelelo. And the last thing that makes a term is a power. So let's also put it inside the blocks over there. So what is a term, Nompumelelo? A term, it is made up of a sign, a coefficient, a letter and hey, Nompumelelo, I like using fancy word. In terms of using a letter there, let's say a variable. This one is easy to pronounce. A variable. Okay, so a variable, it simply refers to a letter. A coefficient in simple terms is just a number. Okay, a sign it's a sign, a power it's a power, or otherwise you can say exponent. So let's see. I'll give an example. Negative 3, let's say x squared. This thing on its own is a complete term. Let's see. What is the sign there, Nompumelelo? It's negative. What is the number or coefficient? Is 3. What is the letter or a variable? It's x. What is a power? Is 2. I'll interpret this one for you, Nompumelelo. What is the sign there? But first thing first, is this a term? To me, yes, it's a term. Why? Because I can be able to interpret it. What is the sign? It's a positive over there, which is invisible. What is a coefficient? Is 2. What is the variable? Is p. What is the power? It's invisible, positive 1. Okay, let's try. Let's say maybe we have 4. Is this thing a term? Yes, it's a term. Why? Because it has characteristics of those. What is the sign of this? Okay, it's an invisible positive. What is the coefficient? Is 4. What is the variable? No variable. What is the power? It's invisible, positive 1. Let's maybe try y. Okay, what is the sign there? It's invisible, positive. What is the coefficient? It's invisible, 1. What is the variable? It is y. What is the power? It's invisible, positive 1. Okay, let's say negative nompumelelo over there, maybe to the power negative 4. Is this a term? Yes. What is the sign? It's negative. What is the coefficient? It's invisible, 1. What is the variable? It's n. What is the power? It's negative 4. So this is all that I wanted you to know, Nompumelelo, regarding what we call a term in a maths. So can you see, every term or every number, it starts with a sign. Everything, it starts with a sign of a positive or a negative. That is why it is easy to say a term is separated by a sign of a positive or a negative. Let me give you something which is going to make a perfect sense. Let's say we've got 2x squared plus x, let's say minus 4, this is equals to 0. Let's try to interpret that. Is this thing a math? Yes, it's a math problem. Why? Because it has those characteristics. It has a sign, it has a number, it has a letter. Okay, now that we understand we are dealing with maths, how many terms do we have on this side? Okay, it seems like we have how many terms? I'm not sure, but I remember Sir said a term is separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. I see a sign there, which means this is a term, this is a term, this is it. So it's 3 terms on the left side. Okay, so let's try to interpret each term. So this term, it has a sign of an invisible positive, a coefficient is 2, a variable is x, and then power is 2. For this one, a sign is positive, it has invisible 1, it has a variable of x, a power of invisible 1. This term, it has a sign of a negative, a coefficient is 4, no variable, but a power is invisible, that. This is equals to, it's a sign. We have 0 there. Same interpretation for 0. For 0, it's special in the sense that it could be positive or it could be minus. It doesn't matter. It is just 0. And again, 0 is a number. The coefficient, it could be whatever. Whether it's 10, whether it's p or whatever, it still remains as 0. So that is why there's no need to interpret 0 over there. Nompumelelo Mtian, all that I've said up to this point, can I confidently say I made it clear such that you don't even have any question based on that? You tell me, hello.
So far so good. Yeah,
So
so far
far,
so
so
good.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
so now let's try to go deep into what you might be currently dealing with. So I'm hoping that everything is going to make a perfect sense. Okay, so now let's talk about problem types. What are we talking about over there? So we have number one, let's say what we call an equation. And again, we have what we call an inequality. We have again what we call an expression. No need to write Nompumelelo. Wait, remind me, on which package are you, Nompumelelo? I just want to confirm something.
It's the gold.
Okay, then it's fine. If you're on gold, then you'll have all of these notes that I'm writing. Whatever that I'm writing here, remind me to forward it to you via inbox together with this recorded lesson. So there's no need for you to write as I'm writing there. So,
Sorry, sir.
mhm.
Sir. Writing things down help me to understand things better. They get stuck in my head
Oh,
rather than
okay.
reading them.
So,
It
so
helps.
that means as I'm writing now, you're also writing on your side.
Yeah, because I can multitask, and if I
Okay,
can't understand,
okay.
I stop writing. Okay.
Okay. No, then it's fine. That means you are a machine, Nompumelo. If you can write and listen and still understand, then that's good. So you can still do that. It's fine. So let's see. We do have what we call an equation. So I want to try and explain each of these type of problems. So number one, let's talk a little bit more about what we call an equation. What is an equation, Nompumelelo? An equation is just something that has an equal sign. That's how I've always cramped it. The moment I see an equal sign, I know I'm dealing with an equation. Let me just give you an idea of where we are going with all of this. Inequality is a math problem that has either less than, greater than, less than or is equals to, or greater than is equals to. This is an inequality. An expression is something that does not have an equal sign. So for a moment I see a math problem which doesn't have an equal sign, it's an expression. That means I simplify. When I have a SAT, that's when I see a square root. So now that we're dealing with an equation, that means you must be having an equal sign over there. So in short, an equation has an equal sign. And again, we have two types of equations, Nompumelelo. The first one, let's maybe say it's a linear equation. And then the second one is a quadratic equation. How do you notice a linear equation, Nompumelelo? The letter or variable has a power of invisible 1. And then here, the letter or unknown or variable, it has a power of visible 2. So when we are dealing with a linear, it simply means you are just going to have one answer or one value of the unknown. So you can see is power of 1, then it means one answer. Here, it's a power of 2, that means 2 answers. To make sense, I'm going to give you some examples over there. Let's say you are given 2p minus 4, this is equals to, let's say 5. I'm going to interpret all of course, this is a math problem because I see a sign, a number, and a letter. And on the left, I've got 2 terms. On the right, I've got 1 term. No need to interpret to say this is a term because it has a plus, whatever. But I'm glad I was able to take you through that because you might have learned something from that explanation, even though you might not use it that much, but as the basics. So if you interpret this, we say this is an equation. Why am I saying it's an equation? Is because I see an equal sign. This is first and first. is it a linear or is it a quadratic? This is a linear. Why? Because I see a letter there, which is to the power of invisible 1. What does it mean? It means you must have one answer. What is an answer? An answer is you saying an unknown represented by letter P is equals to whatever. So that means, nompumelelo, unknown is always represented by a letter, which could be any letter from A up to Z. In this case, examiner chose to use letter P. Okay, so now if you have either a linear or a quadratic, it simply means you solve. You solve. What are you solving? You solve for the unknown. What is the unknown in this case? The unknown is P, which means you are going to follow mathematical procedure to solve for the unknown. So if you remember yesterday's song, Hello, we said we always want to have letters on the left and we want to have numbers on the right. That's what I was trying to sing when I was saying Chabalala one. So it's more like we group all the same names to the left, all the same names to the right. So that means Chabalala one side, Marudaka one side, Loyi one side, Hello one side. So in this case, let's see. Can you see? There we've got a letter, there we've got a number and number. So let's take all the numbers to the other side, which means we remain with 2p is equals to. This is a host. That's why you start with it. And this is a visitor. You write it next and it changes a sign. So that means 2p is equals to, what is it? It's 9. So 2 is attached to P. You therefore want to detach it or to remove it. So you don't transpose, but you divide, or you remove it by dividing it by exactly that on both sides. Then P is equals to 9 over 2. So this was a math problem being a linear type of a problem. Before I go to a quadratic, Nompumelelo, can you try explain to me this one? Let's say it's equals to y plus 4. Talk to me, Nompumelelo. Unmute your mic and talk anything that you'd like to say regarding that. You can just do as I did.
Okay. Can I write it down? Let me just write it down.
Yes, you can write it down.
Okay, 3y equal to y plus 4.
Ungayibhala phansi Nompumelelo.
Okay. So here we have a problem, a maths problem, and we need to solve the unknown. Okay. We have 2 y's. That's what I'm saying. We have 2 y's. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna.
Okay. Before the corner,
Okay.
you tell me what type of a problem is this. So that is the starting point.
Oh,
Always.
okay. I think it's a linear, sir, because of the invisible power 1 on 3y, on the first 3y. Yeah.
Yes. So you'll say this is an equation because you see an equal sign, and the type of an equation is a linear because you notice there's a letter. It could be more letters, but if all of them are to the power of 1, then it qualifies to be a linear, which means whatever. Then from there you can now praise God. Nompumelelo mthia.
Oh, okay. In order to recognize if it's an equation or not, there has to be an equal sign, yeah? Okay, now I see. So I'm solving it now, yeah?
Okay.
I am gonna take the y after the negative side on the right and put it on the left-hand side.
Then what am I writing there, Nompumelelo?
It's 3y minus y is equal to 4. That's what you said. So the negative y has an invisible one, yeah. So it's gonna be 3 minus 1, which is gonna be 2y is equal to 4, and then I wanna be left with y only, which is the unknown, which I'm gonna say is 2y divided by 2, and then what I do on the left hand side, I need to do it on the right hand side. So I divide both sides with 2, cancel, I'm left with y is equal to 4 divided by 2, which is 2.
Easy, 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 easy. Nompumelelo mthia. So now
Yeah.
let's try and go to a quadratic and see if you can get it as easy as you got a linear over there. Okay.
Okay.
Let me try and think about something. Let's say maybe we've got x squared. It's equals to, let's say, 4 plus 3x. Okay, so Nompumelelo, this is an equation because I see an equal sign and I see one letter there, it has a power of 2. Then it qualifies to be a quadratic equation. So that means in the end, I must have two values of the unknown, of which in this case, the unknown is represented by letter x. But there is something special about a quadratic. So always a quadratic equation, you want to rewrite it in the standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c and equate everything to 0. And then from there, you can therefore find the factors and get to your two values of unknown. Does it make sense there, Nompumele?
Oh, sorry, can
Hello.
you repeat it again, sir?
Okay, so there's something special about a quadratic equation. And what's special about it is that the moment you realize you're dealing with a quadratic equation, you must always write it in the standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c and equate everything to 0. You get it?
Oh, yeah, I get it, sir. Only if it's a
If you
quadratic.
don't, yeah, so only if you have a quadratic. But if you have a linear, it's as easy as you did.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so let's see. So now let's try to rewrite it in the standard form. This one. Can you give it a try, Numpumele? Or should I do this one? You'll do another one. Remember to unmute Nompumelelo. I see you are busy preaching there, but I can't hear you.
Ah, I forgot. Can I try and do it?
Yes.
Okay, it's x squared is equal to 4 plus 3x. And then I'm gonna use the standard equation, yeah. It's ax2 okay plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm gonna it's 1x squared plus
Okay. Wait, Nompumelelo. So
okay.
I'm sure you are very, very fun. But what I want you to do now is just to rearrange it in the standard form.
Rearrange the first question. That one x squared is equal to 4 plus the x.
Wait, Nompumelelo. I'm
So
losing you there. So you're saying, what am I writing there?
I wrote 1x squared for the ax squared
Mm-hmm,
plus
mm-hmm,
3x
mm-hmm.
plus 4 is equal to 0.
Okay. So let's try to have a look at this Nompumelelo. Can you
Okay.
see Your 4 is a visitor on this side. Also, your 3 is a visitor on this side because originally they are from Botswana. Can you see?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Can you see now?
I see. Yeah, I see.
So let's correct it.
Okay. So it's gonna be negative 3x and a negative 4.
100%. So now you have correctly written it in the standard form. So we won't go deep, Nompumelelo. We'll just leave it there. I know you are aware of how to take it down, but for now, we'll leave it there. I just want to take you through all of that. Then on our next lesson, that's when we'll be doing some more types of problems, and we might just straight away deal with exam type of questions because it's not like you're in grade 10 or 11, so we'll just need to move at a faster pace in your case.
Okay.
Ne?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we'll just leave it there. So it's more like I wanted you to understand that when we have a quadratic, the main thing is to have it written in the standard form, and then you can therefore nicely continue. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, sir.
Okay, so now I'll just remove all of these nompumelelo, and then from there, I want us to talk about number 2. What is number 2? Number 2 is an inequality. So an inequality, number 2, is an inequality. Inequality, nompumelelo, we still have either a linear or a quadratic inequality. What is the difference between the two? The difference between the two is that we don't have an equal sign, but we have any of these signs. Can you see? So we can just update there to say when you're dealing with an inequality, you can either have less, greater, less or is equals to greater. Nompumelelo, are you not having challenges with knowing which one is less or which one is greater?
Yo, it's a puzzle for me. I can't
It's it
remember which one is lesser than, which one is equal,
okay.
is greater than.
Okay, I'll teach you how I cramped it. Can you do this with your right hand? Can you see what I've done there?
Okay, I'm doing it.
Also do with your left hand side.
Okay.
I'm sure they will think you are crazy there, but you will thank me later, Nompumele. Let's check. You are right-handed, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
Okay, so this is the shape of a your right hand, isn't it? There's your fist,
Yeah.
there's your elbow, isn't it? Okay,
Yes.
this is your left over there. Between these two hands of yours, which one is greater in energy?
My right hand.
Okay, then this one is greater than. Obviously, this is less in energy, isn't it?
Yes.
Then it is less than. You will never forget a Nompumelelo, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Easy,
Greater than
easy,
is the
easy,
right.
easy, easy.
Less than is the left. Okay.
So So that means the moment we add an equal sign over there, then we call it greater than or it's equals to. And the moment they add that, it's less than or it's equals to. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So now we are done with that exercise. Nompumelelo. Let's see. So can you see? Same explanation, but the difference is that there we just have that sign instead of an equal sign. And then also it's a linear inequality because letter power of 1, and then we get one answer. Quadratic because power of 2, and we have two answers. But in this case, under inequality, um, our final answers are not in that format of it's equals to because this is an inequality, but we find what we call critical values. It's actually the same procedure. It's only that final answer is represented differently, which is something that I'm going to teach you as we do or as we solve some exam type of problems over there. I'm not sure if you attended Mr. Sbanda's lesson yesterday at 8:30. Were you able to attend, Nompumelelo?
No, so I was not able to attend. There were people here in the house, so it was very crowded.
Oh, okay. All right. No, then it's fine. I'll just check because he has done that chapter. So normally how we work is that for chapters that I'm good at, I do them. For chapters that he's good at, he does them. So it also depends on our schedule. So just in case if I'm that much busy, then he can also take you through exam type of question paper. So you'll be having support from both of us.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's see. Where are we? Okay, I was saying here we get what we call critical value. So that's all, Nompumelelo, that you needed to know regarding an inequality. So now let's try to talk about a expression. Okay, let's try to talk about number 3 being an expression. I think what I'm going to do now, as soon as I'm done with everything, I'll just pull out any question paper, and then we'll try to check if all of this exist in the question paper. So an expression being number 3, Nompumele, expression is just anything which doesn't have an equal sign or it doesn't have an inequality sign. That's what we call an expression. So an expression is just a math problem. It could be 3p plus 4 over p minus, let's say, x over 4 plus 3. Maybe there you had what is it, 14 minus all of. So can you see, I don't see an equal sign over there, Nompumelelo. That means it's an expression. What do you do when you're given an expression? So when you are dealing with these two, Nompumelelo, you solve. But when you're dealing with an expression, you simplify. What does simplify mean? It simply means you are given something which is either long or complicated, and you just need to rewrite it in its simplest form. So it's more like you are making it simple. How do you do that? You look at each of these terms and check if you've got common terms. So you can see there you have a number and a number. You can add it to become, what is it? It's going to be 17. Even though this is P, but let's see if these things are like terms. No, they are not like terms because this is the same as negative 3p. This is plus 4p to the exponent negative 1 if you want to rewrite it as a linear format. And then this one is the same as minus x times 4 to the exponent negative 1. Okay, plus 3, we added it with that. So we cannot further simplify this because we have worked out the like terms. So that means we had to rewrite this from its complicated format to its simplest format over there. I'm not sure if I'm losing you there, Nompumelelo Mtia.
No, everything is fine. But can you show me how you derived? I mean, how p as a negative now and how 4 as has a negative exponent.
Okay. So soon after we are done, so let me say our next lesson or one of our upcoming lessons before we go deep, I'm going to take you through loss of exponents. So this part, it is going to make a perfect sense. But for now, let me say, if you have, for example, y over x as a fraction and you want to rewrite it as something linear, whatever that is at the bottom, it changes its sign. So this thing, remember, is more like y to the power invisible 1, x to the power invisible 1. So this thing is the same as y multiplied by, can you see, you change that from being a division to being a multiply by. Then this is x to the exponent negative 1 over there. So if you had p over, let's say, n, this thing, it means is the same as p to the exponent invisible 1 multiplied by n to the exponent negative invisible 1. If it was 7 there, it was going to be negative 7. And then if it was 2 there, it was just going to be 2 there. So it's a math rule, but under laws of exponents. I'm still going to take you through that part so that when you deal with exam type of questions, you know all these types of problems, you know laws of exponents, then you can easily solve. Make sense? Nompumele.
Okay, Yabon, I see, sir.
Okay. Nompumelelo, what does that elo means? Because I saw your name say there it says elo.
Can you remind me again what is a suffix? A suffix are the first letters in a word or in a sentence, yeah?
Wait,
It's the end.
wait, what did you say, Nompumelelo? Are we still talking about elo?
Yes, it's talking about elo. Okay, in short, it's just a short name from Nompumelelo. It's those last three letters. Elo, yeah, Nompumelelo.
Oh, the
Last
last
3
one.
letters. Yeah.
Oh, the last one. You know, I've been wondering.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, I would say, if I greet you, then it's more like I'm saying hello, hello. It's the same thing because there we've got
Yeah.
hello and then we have hello. So yesterday when I was saying hello, hello, I was referring to you because of that hello. Okay, so Nompumelelo, can you see we've got a fraction over there, and this type of a fraction. Okay, let me say this is an expression. Why am I saying it's an expression? It's because I don't see an equal sign, I don't see an inequality sign. It qualifies to be an expression. Now that I've got an expression, what do? You simplify. So when you simplify, it's more like you have to rewrite this thing in its simplest form. So I'm just using this to explain, but when we have done laws of exponents, that's when we are going to then follow the rules to simplify. I'll give you the very simplest way of simplifying. Let's say you can also be given 2x plus p minus x minus 7p. What is this a law? This is an expression. Why? Because it doesn't have an equal sign. Okay, what does it mean? Because it's an expression, it means we simplify. How do we simplify? We have a look at each and every term. You can see we've got like terms there. 2x minus invisible 1x is just 1x. That minus that is equals to minus 6p. So can you see? You have rewritten this complicated thing into its simplest form. So that's what we mean when we say you simplify a given expression. So does it now make sense, Nompumele?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. Remember, I won't give you a math problem and said expression makes sense. Now solve this one. So for now, you just need to be aware of everything that I'm saying. It will make a perfect sense when I solve math problems. For now, you just need to be aware. So don't worry that much if everything it's not it hasn't stick to your mind. Just know that as we go deep, everything is going to make a perfect sense. So easy, 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 easy. SARS, it's something that has a square root. The moment you see a square root, just know that a square root. you are dealing with SATs. And when we have SATs, we want to isolate square root. We want to isolate the square root. So it's more like we just want to have the square root on one side of an equal sign. I'll give an example. That's when it's going to make a perfect sense. If you've got square root of x plus 2 minus 3, and this is equals to, let's say, p, or whatever it could be. When we say isolate, Nompumelelo, we are saying send everything to visit the other side so that you remain with the square root. So that means you're going to have x plus 2 over there. This is equals to, this is your host, and this is now a visitor. That's why you write it second, and it changes a sign over there. So can you see, you have isolated the square root. In terms of how do you continue, that's what I'm going to teach you on our upcoming lessons. I'm not sure if all made sense. Nompumele.
I'm good so far. Everything is fine. It makes sense.
Okay, you try and make sense out of this. Let's say -4 negative square root of p plus 4, and this is equals to 4. Just copy this and work it out, and you let me know of the final answer. I think I just want to quickly get my cloth that side. I think it fell. Are you doing that one, Nompumele?
The first one. Okay.
Yes. Oh, are you done? That was quick, Moss. Hello. What is the answer there?
I'm doing it now. Sorry.
I thought you are done. I thought you are now busy with number 2 there.
Okay, let me just quickly scribble this. I'm doing number 2 now. It's y2 exponent y. Is it important where the square root is at, whether the left hand side or the right hand side? But is that important?
Wait, what did you say, Nompumele?
It doesn't matter where the square root is at, on the right hand side or on the left hand side. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
no. It doesn't matter. So when I explain to grade 10s, I say a low is equals to u. So that means u is equals to a low. Makes sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
So
sense.
so that means there's nothing to be done on that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because already it's isolated, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you, what do you want
And
me
then
to do there?
yeah, so I wanted you to say it's already isolated, nothing to be done over there. So
Yeah.
that one, that first one.
The first one I have negative square root of p plus 4 is equal to 4, or a negative 4 is equal to positive square root of p plus 4.
Let me do this. So you're saying it's -4, it's equal. What did you say? No. You
I
didn't
said
say that. No, you said
I
negative
I had
square
two
root.
options.
Hmm?
Plus 4 is
Oh,
equal to
yes.
4, or
And then you
a
divide it.
negative 4. I
Ne?
didn't divide that. No.
What did you do?
um, I ended it there. I didn't continue.
Okay, so just to add on my explanation, we want to isolate such that we have a positive square root. Ne?
Oh, okay.
Yes, then you can just divide it by negative. Ne? Can you see?
Okay.
It makes sense, ne?
What I did was I had two options. It was to transfer the -4 to the other side of the equal sign, be a positive, or to let it remain there and transfer the square root of p plus 4 to the other side and be
Yes.
positive.
Yes. So this is another option that you can do. Just transpose that with a square, then it's a positive. Yes. So normally, to rearrange them things in order, we like it when we're having letters on the left and then numbers on the right. I'm not sure if you were there when I was singing that song in the lesson. So you can still transpose that to the other side. Then on the next step, you just write it as it is because you know that a low it's equals to u. Can you see?
Okay. I see now. How did you multiply it by an x there? And to make 4 a negative on the first option, the
Oh,
second
this one.
step.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me remove all of that and then I'll give it as an easy example. Let's say maybe we have -4 minus y is equals to 0. So remember, this is what? This is a linear equation because it has an equal sign power of 1. So that means we're going to have one value of the unknown being y in this case. So that means one letters one side, numbers one side. So I'm going to therefore move this thing to the other number being 0. Then I remain with -y is equals to, at 0 then is +4. Can you see? So because I do not want a negative letter, I'm going to divide by negative invisible 1, negative invisible 1. Therefore, y is equals to, so can you see where that negative comes from?
Oh, okay, I see now. I see.
Then it makes perfect sense, isn't it?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, so as we are heading to the end of our lesson for today, let's now try to pull out the question paper and see if we can find something that we can use. So these are the notes. I'm just not sure if you're able to see over there, but it's fine. Let's see. Okay, question papers. You are in grade 12. We are dealing with mathematics, and then let's maybe open the recent question paper there. This is for June. Let's maybe try open that one and get to there. Okay, I was busy there with another learner. Okay, I'm not sure if you're able to see there, Nompumele. Can you see there?
Yeah, ngiyabona.
Okay, masicale ke. Scala. Hey, let me just get my pencil. I'll just write on that question paper then. Okay. Let's see, Nompumele. Let me just try to zoom in this thing so that it's. Why is it like it can't zoom? No, it can't zoom. It's fine. Okay, but you say you can see, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. Let's check. What is this, Nompumele? This is an equation. Why? Because you see an equal sign over there. Okay. What type of an equation is it, Nompumele? Can you tell me?
It's a quadratic equation.
Why?
Because of the exponent 2.
100%. So now that it's a quadratic equation, so that means we need to follow all that we know regarding a quadratic equation, which means it has to be in the standard form. And then once it's in the standard form, you can therefore factorize or find the factors and give two values of the unknown. Does it make sense there?
Oh, yeah. Okay, it makes sense, sir.
Okay, so now let's move on to 1.1.2. On 1.1.2, what type of a problem is that?
I think it's still the same, a quadratic.
Yes. What? Why are you saying so?
Exponent 2.
Okay, is it in the standard form?
I think it. No, it's not. I'm not sure
Uh,
fully there.
okay, so for it to be in the standard form, always think about ax squared plus bx plus c. Everything must be equated to 0.
Oh yeah, it is it's in a standard form. It is.
100%. So, when it's in the standard form, that's if the a value is positive. If the a value was negative, then it's not in the standard form. Nay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now if it's in the standard form, we know very well that it means we must actually find the factors, isn't it? Generally speaking.
Okay.
But because there's a hint there which says correct to 2 decimal places, it means the factors are in a form of a decimal. So it's not easy to factorize something which is in a form of a decimal. Therefore, it simply means you must use a quadratic equation. You know this equation, Mos?
Oh yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Yes. So you only use this if an equation is in the standard form and it's a quadratic equation. So this formula, Nompumelelo, it comes from this standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c being equals to 0. So what they did there was to try and make x the subject of the formula. So that is why they ended up having that letter b. Can you see? It's still there from there. B again there. And then they also had a value. It is still there. Can you see Nombumele? It is
Yeah, I
still
can
there.
see so.
And they still have the C over there, which is that C over there. And then a plus or a minus, it's because you know very well that for a quadratic, you must have two values of the unknown. That is why it's a plus and again a minus, so that you have a x, it's equals to for a plus sign, or x, it's equals to for a negative sign. You have 1, 2 values of the unknown. Does it make sense, Nombumele?
Yeah, it makes sense. But my question is, when is this formula applicated? If we're having answers which are gonna be decimals, that's when we use the equation.
Yes, but you won't know until they say correct to 2 decimal places. So the moment they say correct to 2 decimal places, then you use it.
Then okay.
Because can you see, both of these are the same thing as you said. But the difference is that examiner knows that for this one, you can't use your head to factorize. Otherwise, you're going to have a headache on that one, Nompumelelo. To avoid you
So
having a headache, in exam room, then they say correct to 2 decimal places. Can you see? Imagine having a headache on 1.2 Nompumelelo, and this question is out of 150. Can you see?
it happens. I
It
see.
wouldn't be nice, isn't it?
It wouldn't. So that's just
Let's
that's just them giving us a hint to use this
yes,
formula.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes. So it's just a hint to say use this formula because they know that you're going to spend 3 years on 1.1.2 there. By that time, someone will be graduating and you'll still be how much? Okay, 1.1.3. Nompumelelo. What are we dealing with there? Can you tell me?
I can't see. It's blurry now.
It's blurry now, ne?
Yeah, it's blurry. Can you put more focus like you did?
Maybe let me
Okay.
try to zoom. Is
Nah,
it clear now?
it's clear now.
Okay. What are we dealing with over there, Nompumele?
It is an inequality.
Why?
Because of the inequality sign
Okay. Is it a
before 9.
linear or a
Oh,
quadratic inequality?
it's a quadratic inequality because of the exponent 2.
Yes. So that means what you need to do is to work it out until it's in the standard form. Make sense?
Okay.
So here you know very well that that power of 2, it simply means you have 2 of the same thing, isn't it? Hello, hello, hello. Did you run away?
No, I'm still here.
So do you agree that that squared it simply means 2 of the same thing?
Sorry? Sir?
So I was saying, do you agree that this power of 2, it simply means that you have 2 of the same thing?
Yeah, I think so.
So therefore, you can say this times that, you write it, this times that, you write it, and then you have this times that, you write it, also that times that.
The
Then, mhm.
the signs there, x minus 1, x minus 1, nothing, no sign gets changed there when you're multiplying.
Oh, yes, yes. No, something is going to change when you multiply, which is what you'll be writing as you multiply, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes. So remember, Lo, for now, we are not really solving. I'm just taking you through what I've taught you in terms of how do you interpret exam type
Oh,
of questions. On our next lesson, yes, on our next lesson, that's when we'll be solving. Can you see?
okay, I see, sir.
100%. So now, let's see. So Nompumelelo, not all of our lessons will be long, but for those lessons which are necessary to be long, they will drag, even if it takes us 1 hour 30 minutes. As long as I know it will save us time for our next lesson, we'll just go for it, isn't it?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I understand.
Okay, so one thing for sure, this question, to solve it and for you to understand, you might not need too much time, as long as you can understand today's lesson, because that is the foundation. Okay, 1.1.4, you tell me, Lo, what type of a problem are we dealing with over there? Remember to unmute, Lo.
I forgot again. I forgot. It's the sad. Is it sad or
Okay,
third?
then what do we do?
We we isolate the the root.
Then what are we going to have?
We're gonna have two of two x two roots of x plus 6 is equal to x minus 2.
Puma root. No Puma root. Mhm.
How do you pronounce that?
Square
the
root.
I know the square root, but if it has a number in front,
Oh, no,
how?
it's 2 square root of x plus
Oh,
6.
2 square root of x. Okay.
Yeah,
ah.
so, okay, continue.
Um. Okay. I'm not sure how to do this, but I think we need to introduce the square root of 2 on both sides.
Yeah, so you know what? I thought maybe you were going to say we divide by 2 to get rid of it.
That's the
So,
other way of doing it, I think.
no, you are right. So
It's
that
not.
2, no, that 2 is fine there. Maybe if it was a -2, you might just remove that negative there. So
Okay.
you just want to have a positive coefficient root of whatever inside. So you are, of course, going to introduce a squared on both sides to remove the square root. But remember, this 2, it is going to remove the square root, and again, it is going to square that coefficient there. So that means you're going to have
So,
4 into whatever that is inside the square root, and then 2 of this on the other side. Makes sense?
okay, makes sense. I see.
Then from there, you are going to try and remove the brackets so that you
Brackets.
know the type of a problem that you are dealing with. Then if it's a quadratic, you follow whatever that quadratic says, which says write it in the standard form, find the factors, give me 2 unknowns. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I see, sir.
Am I the only one who's smelling distinctions here, low? Hmm?
Ah, I don't know, but
So
that's the goal.
it's still early for you to be smelling, isn't it?
Yeah. Still have,
Okay, long way to go.
yeah.
Okay, so now solve simultaneously for x and y. What type of
Mm,
a problem is that, and what type of a problem is that, a law?
it's a linear, the first one. The second one is the quadratic.
Easy, easy, easy. So that means um, equation 1, we always regard it as a linear. And then equation number 2, we always regard it as a quadratic. Then you derive equation number 3 based on, what is it? Based on equation number 1 being a linear. So you just want to isolate one unknown. That means you're going to therefore send that one to Malawi there. You're going to have y, it's equals to, who's the host? The host is Malawi 2 minus 4x. Can you see how easy it is, a law?
Yeah, I see, sir.
Therefore, you substitute this into that, and then from there, this two, it means you have two of the same thing. Then you do this by that by that, whatever. Then you work out the like terms. Can you see within this problem, you simplify, simplify, work them out, rewrite it in the standard form, two values. Then from there, you come back to this, you give two values of the unknown. So that means in the end, you're going to give us the x1 and the corresponding y1, and again x2 and the corresponding y2. Make sense there, hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
A
now
little bit.
a little bit now.
A little bit, yeah.
So
After
uh,
the, okay,
so
continue.
I was
Sorry.
about to say don't worry that much. As when we solve for this, that's when it's going to make a perfect sense. So
Okay.
for now, it's just us having a very nice cup of tea and planning how we are going to uh, attack Russia
Mm.
there alone. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, don't worry that much. Everything is going to make a perfect. Okay, so now if it is given that this, then they say determine the numerical value of x minus y. So this question alone, it will need you to have a bit of a background of exponential laws, and again, being confident with all of that. So you notice an exponential type of a problem by having an unknown being an exponent. So can you see in this case, the power is a letter and not a number. So it qualifies to be an exponential type of a problem, which means you can work it out nicely when you know the laws of exponents. Do you get me there, Lo?
Yeah, ngiyabona, sir.
You know, I normally say, I ask you to say, do you get it? And if you don't get it, you forget about it. So, luckily, you got it, Lo. But if you didn't get it, I was going to say forget about it. Then that means we wait for the right time until you get it. Hello, hello, hello. This brings us to the end of our lesson for today. I hope you did enjoy as much as I did. In case if you've got any questions, this is your opportunity, Hello, to ask before I end our very first private lesson, Hello. Any questions?
Okay, let me see my notes, my very summarized notes, if there's something I don't recall.
So remember, this lesson is
Okay.
recorded, so I'm going to send it to you as soon as we're done.
Okay, sir. No, I think everything is good so far, and if I don't understand, I'm gonna watch the video again
Yes.
later.
Then we'll attend to whatever the questions that you might be having. So, did you ever attend my lesson for this thing?
No,
This thing?
I was gonna ask because you did an introduction on sequences, but I never got a chance to attend the class where you do the
Yesterday's
question
lesson
paper.
where we're solving the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's fine. I also recorded the lesson, so I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. You can catch it. You can catch it on my. I'm going to share the link in the group, so you just click on the
Okay.
link and it will take you to that lesson. Make sure to watch it. So the reason why I record my lessons, it's in these cases where you had visitors yesterday, you couldn't attend. Then you can easily catch up. You see.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. So that means we're done, Ms. Elo.
Yeah, we are done.
Okay,
Thank
all
you
right. No.
very much.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.